Her body was cut in half with surgical precision, every drop of blood drained, and she was smiling. Woman found bisected in vacant lot, cleanly severed at the waist. Killer never caught. Case never solved. January 15th, 1947. Los Angeles, California. A woman walking through a vacant lot in Leimert Park sees what she thinks is a mannequin broken in half, discarded. Then she looks closer. It's a woman, cut perfectly in half at the waist. Both sections placed carefully, positioned, displayed. Her name was Elizabeth Short, 22 years old, aspiring actress. Black hair. People called her the Black Dahlia. And someone had done something to her body that medical examiners had never seen before. The autopsy revealed impossible details. Elizabeth Short had been cut in half at the waist, not hacked, not torn, cut with surgical precision. The bisection was clean, perfect. But that wasn't the strangest part. Her body had been completely drained of blood, every drop. The medical examiner found no blood in her system, no pooling, no residue, as if her circulatory system had been emptied, and her face had been cut from the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating a grotesque smile, the Glasgow smile, done while she was still alive. The crime scene was staged. Both halves of her body were washed clean, scrubbed, no blood at the scene, no evidence, no fingerprints. Whoever did this had moved her body after death, positioned it deliberately. The killer had total control, total privacy, and medical knowledge that exceeded most doctors. The investigation became the largest in LAPD history. Over 150 suspects, over 500 people interviewed, but no solid leads. The killer sent letters to newspapers, taunting them. One letter included Elizabeth's belongings, her birth certificate, her address book, proof the writer had access to her possessions. One letter said, "Here is Dahlia's belongings. Letter to follow." The letter stopped. The case went cold. For 78 years, the Black Dahlia murder remains unsolved. Here's what nobody connected. Geomagnetic records from January 1947 show unusual solar activity between January 10th and 13th. Peak activity on January 12th, 3 days before Elizabeth's body was found. The same electromagnetic pattern as every other case. And witnesses in Leimert Park reported seeing strange lights in the sky on January 14th. Not searchlights, not planes. Lights that hovered over the vacant lot where her body would be found. One witness described them as pulsating. Another said they moved in patterns that didn't make sense. The LAPD dismissed these reports, but there were no flights logged over that area that night. Consider the medical impossibility. To bisect a human body cleanly requires specialized equipment, a surgical saw, a controlled environment, time, expertise. In 1947, that meant access to a hospital, a morgue, a medical facility. The LAPD investigated doctors, medical students, morticians, found nothing. To completely drain a body of blood requires puncturing major arteries and hanging the body inverted, or using a pump system. But Elizabeth's body showed no signs of typical methods, no puncture wounds in the right locations, no evidence of hanging, no pump marks. The blood simply vanished from her system. In 2019, AI-enhanced analysis of crime scene photos revealed something. In the background of one photo, there's a dark shape. The AI identified it as potentially vehicular, but the shape doesn't match any 1947 vehicle. Too smooth, too uniform. And in another photo, there are marks in the dirt near the body. Not footprints, not tire tracks. Circular depressions, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle, each about 18 inches in diameter. The LAPD never documented these marks, but they're visible in the photographs. No one has explained what made them. Consider the pattern. Elizabeth Short was last seen alive on January 9th at the Biltmore Hotel with an unidentified man. She seemed willing, not distressed. She left with him voluntarily. She was found on January 15th, 6 days later. That means for nearly a week, someone had her, had the time and space to do what they did. And during that week, there was a geomagnetic storm. What if Elizabeth Short wasn't murdered by a person? What if something took her during the storm? What if the bisection, the blood drainage, the surgical precision, what if those weren't the work of a human killer? The investigation never closed. To this day, the LAPD considers it an open case. But 78 years later, no one has been arrested. The Black Dahlia remains Hollywood's most famous unsolved murder. Here's what we know. Elizabeth Short was bisected with surgical precision. Her body was drained of blood through unknown means. Her face was mutilated in a controlled manner. The crime occurred during a geomagnetic storm. Witnesses reported strange lights, and circular marks at the scene were never explained. Ask yourself, how was her body drained of blood with no evidence of typical methods? Who had the medical knowledge to perform a perfect bisection? What created the circular marks at the crime scene? Why were there lights hovering over the vacant lot? And why does this follow the same geomagnetic pattern? Drop your theory in the comments. Serial killer with medical training, Hollywood conspiracy, or something that took her during the storm and returned her body as a demonstration? Tomorrow, Somerton man, unidentified man found dead on Australian beach in 1948, poisoned with unknown substance, coded message in his pocket, identity hidden for 73 years. Same pattern, same impossible circumstances, same evidence. If you're seeing the pattern, hit subscribe now. We're 8 episodes in. Every death shows surgical precision. Every case has the same geomagnetic signature. Every victim was modified or studied. This isn't random. This is systematic. Want early access? Join Mind Veil membership for less than a cup of coffee per month. Link below. Tomorrow, Episode 9, Somerton Man, unknown poison, coded message, identity hidden for 73 years, death that defied explanation. This is Mind Veil. The truth hides in the shadows.